Number 5, Luigi's Mansion 3. Oh man. So people are probably going to kill me for putting Luigi's Mansion 3 above Kingdom Hearts 3. But hey, I was drawn into that game more than Kingdom Hearts 3. I'm so sorry. The thing with Luigi's Mansion is, the first one is fine. I like the second one, but the third one just really grabbed me. And just, when you start the game and you see the opening cutscene, the animation is just spectacular. This is like Pixar level quality animation right here. If this were to be the actual Super Mario Brothers movie, I would definitely be down with that animation team coming in to do a lot of the groundwork for it. It was just so good and just gave these characters so much personality and likability. You just wanted to know what happens next, which of course you do. And of course King Boo comes back and he's up to no good again, but this time it's through a hotel. And I think where the game really works is just in the environments. You don't feel like you're getting too lost in them, but at the same time you can sort of diverge from your path and go exploring. There's just a lot of cool areas to explore, and I think the new mechanics is what helps it, especially the introduction of Luigi. I feel like the puzzles they create around him are just spectacular and a lot of fun. And I also enjoy kind of the way you capture ghosts now, where you get to, after a certain point, you actually get to take the poltergust and you get to just is it poltergust or poltergeist? No, poltergust. Get it? That's the joke. Poltergeist. Haha. But you get to actually take the ghost and you get to slam them around. I don't know if that was in the second game though, but there was just something really satisfying about this game, playing it from start to finish. And you definitely want to go back and find all of the hidden secrets too. I think what it is I most like about it is the design of the hotel, how it's structured, and how you explore and solve all these really neat puzzles. I just had a lot of fun exploring and just engaging with all these crazy characters that you meet along the way. I mean, usually Mushroom Kingdom folk, but also you'll get a lot of the boos as well. I don't know what it is about this game that drew me in. Again, the animation might have played a part in it, but I just really fell in love with this game and just going around and catching ghosts and all this stuff. And the game doesn't, the thing is that it doesn't feel like it's pressuring you, because I feel like the last two games kind of did that too, with how you complete certain objectives, where you can sort of take your time with this one. There's no need to rush, and you can kind of really do whatever you want. So I just had a blast with Luigi's Mansion 3, and it's easily one of the best Switch games I've played all year. I mean, there are definitely some better ones out there, but it's definitely, especially for the Halloween season, if you're looking for something that's truly sort of embraces that atmosphere and just kind of that fun, playful side of Halloween, then I definitely recommend Luigi's Mansion 3. Number 4, Ukulele and the Impossible Lair. So I played a bit of the original Ukulele, and it's fine, but it didn't have that same charm that those older Rare titles had. I don't know, something about it just didn't connect with me. But I can definitely tell you that the Impossible Lair is way, way, way better in just every regard. I mean, the levels themselves that you play through, wow, they're incredibly designed and incredibly polished. There's just so many fun moments to go through, so many dangerous traps to dodge, so many secrets to find. All these levels are just incredible. I just loved every moment of it. And definitely what helps is the overworld, which is more of that bird's eye Legend of Zelda style, where you have to go around solving puzzles, and it worked really well. I really enjoyed going through them and trying to find all of the cool little secrets, collecting all of the tonics. You collect tonics that can help you out during your adventure, and just trying to certain actions you do in the overworld will affect each level you play, which is really cool. It was just a lot of fun to explore. There were just a lot of things you can do in the outside world, and then go in and then just play these fun Donkey Kong Country style levels. I just had a lot of fun, but I do think that the main issue is that the aesthetic for the game is kind of bland. I'm not saying it's horrible or anything, but especially a lot of the levels you visit, they feel like they kind of blend together. There's no distinct style. So I don't know. That was really, and the other thing too is the Impossible Lair. Even if you do find all of the bees in that, it's still really freaking hard. And unfortunately, I didn't actually beat it yet. That's gonna take me a while. I really have to sit down and just practice and practice. Because again, even with the bees, it really is insane. I think the problem is it goes on far too long. Like, the level design for it is really good, but after a while, you sort of just feel tired and you just want to take a break from it. But whatever. I mean, that's why it's called the Impossible Lair, right? They've achieved their goals. I mean, how dare I criticize them for achieving what they set out to do? What is wrong with me? But either way, I just had a lot of fun with this game, and it took me back to, like, the old style 2D platforming games. Again, like the Donkey Kong games, which it clearly is replicating. You know, a lot of ex-Rare employees, so it makes sense, but I had a lot of fun with it, and I'm interested to see where the series goes, and I hope that this has been a learning experience for Playtonic, and that they can, when they do another Ukulele game, or if they do another game period, like, maybe they'll try to do something similar to Killer Instinct. I don't know. I'd love to see that. But I just hope that they're able to push forward and just only get better from here. But either way, a round of applause for Ukulele. Check it out. Number 3. Ion Fury and a Medieval. I know, I'm kind of cheating here, but I couldn't decide between both of them. I mean, they're both first-person shooters that are trying to replicate the old style from the 90s. I mean, that technically makes them the same, right? I mean, no. But, yeah, the more I thought about it with these two, the more I realized they both had their strengths and weaknesses, and neither one could outmatch the other. So, I just decided to include them both. Ion Fury, it runs on a modified build engine, and the art that they did for it is just incredible if you look at it, especially the environments, the weapons, the character models. It just looks spectacular, and you could just stare at it all day. Now, at the beginning, I was kind of worried because I feel like the level design was a bit too massive, and you could get lost, and certainly a number of hit scan enemies didn't help because there were moments where you couldn't see them in time and stuff like that, and I wasn't too sure about it. But I think by the time I got to the second half of episode 2 is where the level design felt more condensed. It wasn't like, it didn't hold your hand though, so you could kind of go and explore where you want, but you could logically think of where to go next without feeling flustered or anything like that, if that makes sense. But yeah, from there, it was just solid all around. The level design, the enemy battles, it was just so much fun. And at first, I wasn't too hot on the loadout, but I think I've come to like it over time, especially the crossbow and its alt fire. I mean, oh god, that thing just devastates everyone. It's definitely BFG worthy, in my opinion. But yeah, from there, it was just nonstop fun. I couldn't get enough of it. I like the creative enemies, except for those damn spiders. I mean, they can go straight to hell with the Lost Souls from Doom. But yeah, other than that, I had a really good time with it. I mean, there were definitely some other issues too. Like, I definitely felt the final boss was lackluster. It was just like a boss rush, well, not a boss rush. Just like kind of like an enemy rush, more like an enemy rush, where you had to fight a lot of the enemies, and then you had to get your bomb and throw it into a core, and then repeat the process. It was a bit underwhelming, but not too bad. And it wasn't, I don't know, something about it wasn't as, like, zany or over the top as Duke Nukem 3D or Shadow Warrior or Blood, but I don't know. I guess maybe it's trying to go for its own thing. But I do have to give credit for John St. John's performance as the villain, because he is hamming it up and just having the time of his life. I think it's one of his best performances since Duke Nukem. I don't know why. You could just tell he's really getting into the role. And I don't know, I guess in a way, it's sometimes more fun to play the villain, because you just get to be like, mwahaha, or whatever. But not that I'm saying all villains should just be mwahaha, or anything like that. I mean, villain depth, what's that? I mean, Thanos, hello. Joker, what? Okay. But yeah, so overall, I still enjoyed Ion Fury. There was some controversy, unfortunately, with it, which, I don't know, might have hurt the game a little bit, but I was still able to separate the creator from the game, because I forget the team that worked on the game, where they've made some pretty bad remarks on their Discord, and what didn't help was that the official Twitter page was handling it so unprofessionally. But, you know, by that point, I had the game, I wasn't aware of it, and I probably couldn't have refunded it. And besides, I've been really waiting for the game, too. But I think at this point, unless they can get their act together, I won't be supporting this studio going down the road. However, a Medieval, on the other hand, with New Blood Studio, I will support those guys always, because they do incredible work. medieval is definitely more akin to something like Heretic or Hexen. And I definitely think it's a lot better than both of those games, honestly, because this is really hardcore old school shooter styles here. Because you just go around, collect keys. I mean, it's kind of like what Ion Fury did too, but it just goes like even further back, if that makes sense. Definitely back to like that Doom, Heretic, and Hexen style. But I think what really makes it stand out is the level design, because these are some of the best levels I've ever seen in any first-person shooter. They're just amazing to explore, and I think they help set up these really fun monster fights, and every world is different. Every encounter feels fresh and new, and I was just really enthralled for like every moment of it. And I guess the problem with it is it doesn't feel like it has like too big an identity. It just feels like a medieval first-person shooter. There's nothing that makes it really stand out from the others. I don't know, it didn't have that big of a personality, and I think by the end too, some of the levels got a bit too, like, I don't know, went on a bit too long, and they were kind of a bit, some of the traps might have been a bit annoying. I'm not entirely sure. Maybe I was just burnt out by the end, but either way, I still had a lot of fun with both of these games, and they both did some really unique things, bringing this old school style back, but doing something completely different with it, and that's why I like them both. So they're definitely available on Steam, so you should go over there and buy them, like right now. Stop this video, go get them. What are you doing? Why are you still watching? You need to go play them now. But come back, we still have 2 more to get through, please. Number 2, Link's Awakening for Nintendo Switch. I love Link's Awakening. It's in my top 3 favorite Zeldas. It just did a lot of things right for the series. It has so much imagination, so much creativity. It's some of the best dungeons the entire series has to offer. And on top of that, the story is both really charming and really dark at the same time. Like, it's really subtle, maybe even more so than Majora's Mask. I'm not knocking Majora's Mask, but with this game, you can really sort of feel the pain that you have to go through towards the end of the game. And I'm not going to go into what that is, because you really need to experience the game for yourself. And now with the Nintendo Switch version, you can easily, and I think it's the definitive way to play the game. I mean, there are some minor issues. Like, I feel like the frame rate gets inconsistent at moments, but it's not, like, drastic or anything. Like, it kind of happens during, like, scene transition, so it doesn't really ruin the overall flow, especially during combat. But, I mean, it's noticeable. But the thing that works about this remake is the quality of life improvements. I wanted you to keep this in mind, that it's not going to be entirely different from the original. All the dungeons are still exactly the same as it was. I mean, there are some minor tweaks here and there, and the story is exactly the same, beat for beat. But at the same time, all those quality of life improvements really help the game and really make it the best that it can be. It makes like menu navigation so much easier, just exploring the overworld so much easier. It's just a lot of fun, and it's good going back and just playing it in HD now. And I know some people were kind of turned off by the graphics at first, but I think as time went on, people were able to get into it. I was fine with it from the beginning. I like sort of the cute little toy model characters, especially Link. When he's wearing his blue tunic, he kind of looks like Hermie from the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer special. I thought that was really funny. But yeah, I like the art style a lot. And you know, after coming off of Breath of the Wild, which how dark that game got, it was nice to play something that was just a lot more simple and a lot more fun, and you just sort of wander around the world and not have like a care in the world. And there are a few new additions, and I will admit the one that kind of had potential, but it just kind of fell through, was the Dungeon Maker, which I guess they're trying to copy a bit off of Mario Maker, but it doesn't really work that well. And I think the reason why is because basically what it is it takes each dungeon, like each part of the dungeon that you enter, and it creates a piece that you can use to create your own dungeon, but you're basically borrowing the assets from the actual dungeon. So it's a weird mishmash, and especially the tasks you have to go through, they take forever to get through, especially if you don't have the right like dungeon piece you need. And so I think it just went on a bit too long. I just found it boring, because I did have to complete it to get some hearts. And they're also, I think the mini games were also revamped a little bit too, and they work a lot better as well, and I had a lot of fun with them. But at the end of the day, it's still the game at its core, still the same game that we played on the Game Boy and the Game Boy Color, but just, I feel a whole lot better. It just did, the things that it really did well really helped excel it. Again, especially those quality of life improvements, like better menu navigation, better overworld navigation. It just, I loved it so much, and I guess the art style made the characters more endearing too, if that makes sense. It was awesome. It kind of gave the characters more personality. I don't know why. It's just, I don't know. They really felt more friendly to you, and you can just engage in their conversation, even though some of the characters are a bit cuckoo. But again, that's part of the charm of it. But yeah, there isn't too much more I have to say. It's just, I love the game so much. If you've never experienced Link's Awakening, this is the perfect time to do it. Because again, I think it is the definitive version. I'm not knocking the original games, but again, what really helps are those quality of life improvements. And again, it's definitely worth getting a Switch alone just for that game. So check it out. And I'm getting too excited because I'm hitting my mic now. So let's not waste any more time and get into the number one game of 2019, shall we? And the number one game is Super Mario Maker 2. I'm not even kidding on that. This game, more so than any other game I've played this year, I really connected with the most. And it's a very super biased reason. I mean, again, this aren't all of these lists that we put out biased, but Mario more so, because Mario is my favorite franchise, my favorite video game franchise, and I've always had a deep connection, because it's what got me into games in the first place. And when I was a kid, I used to do little drawings, like I would make up my own levels on a piece of paper. Eventually I would discover the modding scene, and I tried my hands at like a Mario 3 hack, but some of the assets wouldn't work right, and I didn't have the programming knowledge to actually make a cohesive game out of it. But then Mario Maker came along, and that fulfilled my desire, and Mario Maker 2 more so now. It everything I ever wanted. And I know that some people will say, like, oh, it doesn't have the charm of the original because, like, they don't have all the amiibo costumes. That never really bothered me too much. I think the reason it never did was because in the original Mario Maker, a lot of if you were looking up levels, a lot of them would just be Super Mario Brothers. Well, it kind of is that now too, now that Link's a power-up in the game. But still, I kind of like variety more, especially because there were very few Mario 3 levels, and I love Mario 3, so I was just in love with it from start to finish. I think the biggest addition was the story mode, because they had really charming characters that you can engage with, but the way that the story mode gets started is the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life. Because for some reason, in Mario Maker, there's this little rocket ship. If you hold it down for 3 seconds, it erases everything. So for some reason, they have that rocket ship out in the open, where if you press on it, and all of a sudden the erase dog comes out, and he steps on it, and instead of trying to push him off of it, they just are just like running around. It's like, oh, what do we do? What do we do? It's not like we can move over and get the dog off or anything. And so he steps on it, the castle gets destroyed, so they have to rebuild it from scratch. And this involves Mario taking on various jobs. And these levels are really, the jobs involve going through various Mario levels created by professionals. And holy crap, are these levels amazing. Like, if this was a standalone Mario, it could have been a standalone Mario game with these levels, because they are just some of the best and really take full advantage of Super Mario Maker 2 and all of its assets and use it in ways you would never dream of. And I just want to go back, after this video, I might just go back and play those levels again. They're just so amazing. You just play them over and over again. And the story mode was just a lot of fun too. And a lot of the new assets definitely propel the game. Of course, you got the slopes now, and then you got the angry sun, and you got seesaws. Oh man, I can't keep track. And now with the new version, you have Link as a power-up, and he can do he's very versatile. You can use bombs, you can use arrows. It's like they gave a lot for him. They put a lot of time and effort into this. And now you can play with friends too online. It seems like the possibilities for this game are endless. And like I said, some people might have issue with, the UI, the main screen where you do your work on, because, the reason it worked so well on the Wii U is because it had that, the touchscreen thing, and the Switch does too. But doing it when it's docked is a lot harder. So that's why I kind of prefer to do it with like a pen and just go across the screen. And some people, the UI might be a bit clunky, but it didn't bother me. Again, it didn't bother me too much. And you know what's cool too about Mario Maker 2 is that I feel like a lot of people learned from the first game, and I think those new levels in the story mode helped because it sparked a lot more creativity in people. Because in Mario Maker 1, there was a lot of bad levels. But in Mario Maker 2, that seems to be not the case because there's a lot more effort put into these levels. And some of the crazy things they come up with, you couldn't dream of this stuff. Like, there's one where they do it as a they use Mario Maker as a calculator. It's insane. It's crazy what the people have come up with. And I just keep going back to it all the time, just wanting to play new levels and make my own, which I do have a few. So maybe I'll put a link. Maybe I'll like put the code number at the end of this video or something. I don't know. But yeah, I would like for you to check them out. They're a lot of fun, and I just had a lot of fun playing everybody else's levels. They're so creative. It was just a blast the whole time, and it really just made my dream come true. So I know that might be a weird choice for the #1 spot, but that's just what did it for me this year. It's just, again, I just felt really connected to this game, and it just brought me back to a time when I was a kid and I wanted to make my own Mario levels. And well, now you can, and I do hope we get some more updates soon, including like maybe a new style. And I guess that is maybe the one minor thing I should complain about. The Mario 3D World style is very cool, especially driving cars, but it doesn't have the same flexibility as the other styles for some reason. Like, you can't stack enemies on top of other enemies. It's really weird. But again, it's a really nice addition, and it does add some more longevity to Super Mario Maker. So I don't know what the future holds for that game, but we'll definitely see. Yeah, those are my top 10 games for the year. I hope you guys enjoyed this list. Please let me know what you think. I would love to do more down the road. As for games coming up in 2020 that I'm looking forward to, you know the obvious one, Doom Eternal, of course, and Animal Crossing, and I don't know what other games coming out I'm really looking forward to. I'm sure there's one like all the way in the back of my head. I just don't know what it is at the moment. But yeah, either way, it's been a crazy decade, and I hope it gets even crazier in this next decade. But I definitely, in a good way. I hope we just go on a lot of crazy fun adventures in the future. And, you know, there'll always be bad stuff, but we always just have to hold on with what we got. And, you know, we're here, we have our health, we have people that we love in our lives, and they're always going to be there with us. So, no matter what, they'll always be there, whether physically or spiritually. You know, it doesn't matter. So, everyone, I hope you have a good 2020. I can't wait to put out more videos and put out more chapters of Kingdom Hearts the Nintendo version remixed. I hope you all look forward to that. And yeah, I will see you next time. Take care. Bye.